Hi everyone, Latin here, bringing you my improved Regi water team in the Ultra League. It's a pretty good team. I managed to go 4-1 with this team. Now, without a hitch, no sign of anyone cheating this time. And by the way, the exploit still exists. You can check my last video. Someone even commented and left a link showing them using the exploit. But anyway, this is my team. Basically, I use Polyrath as my safe switch to draw out any grass, Chrysalias, or fairy types, so that afterwards my Swampert can be free to roam and cause havoc. And of course I put my Regi Steel in the front in case my opponent starts with any of those fairies, Chrysalia, or grass types. Right, Chrysalia is the main one that we need to get out of the way for Swampert to function well. And here it goes. And by the way, if you hear any static in the background, it's raining really heavily here off and on. So that's just letting you know. Here we go into the first match. Regi Steel faces up against a Chrysalia. This is very favorable for me. I'm surprised my opponent is staying in. Most people will just switch out immediately or just try to get one Moonblast off in hopes of getting the attack debuff. But this person is staying in with their Chrysalia, so I'm glad for it. I'll just hit them as much flash cannons as possible. Both of my two Pokemon in the back are really weak against Chrysalia. Polyrath being a fighting type and Swampert not really having any super effective moves against Chrysalia. They switch into their Giratina. I hit it one flash cannon to give this Polyrath an advantage. As you can see, Polyrath usually loses against Giratina altered, but hopefully with that flash cannon damage it has the advantage it needs to win this matchup. Ice Punch does super effective damage against this dragon. So let's see if my Polyrath can win it. They have a sliver of life and get off a last charge move, so I decide to use a shield. I should not have, but I use it. I win the matchup. They bring out their Chrysalia with energy stored. And foolishly I use my last shield there. And then switch into my Regi Steel, so it's locked in. Not the best play. So I'm making the best of it here. I get one shield from them, thankfully. And down goes my Regi Steel. Unfortunately, my Polyrath has energy stored up. I bring it back in and use a Dynamic Punch immediately and get the last shield. Very good. And I managed to get another Dynamic Punch off that should take a huge amount of damage from this Regi Steel. Down goes the Polyrath and it's up to Super Swampert now. Let's see if Swampert can take down my opponent's two remaining Pokemon by itself. The Chrysalia comes out. And unfortunately they have Grass Knot, a huge amount of damage done to my Chrysalia, but I'm able to reach another Hydro Cannon and win the match just in time. Swampert is just so spammy with those Hydro Cannons. It is ridiculous. Going into this match, we have the mirror match between Regis. Whose Regi is the better? They use their shield. I'm not going to use my shield. I generally don't use a shield in the Regi matchup. I bring in my Polyrath to draw out their Chrysalia. This is exactly what I want. My opponent probably thinks they have the upper hand here. But surprisingly enough, Polyrath does a decent amount of damage to Chrysalia for something that gets hard-walled by that Pokemon. Look at how much damage I managed to do. About half, or a little more than half actually. Okay, this Grass Knot takes it out, no problem. I bring back in my Regi Steel, which walls Chrysalia in return. Right, this isn't going to take out my Regi Steel, and one more Flash Cannon should do it to this Chrysalia, giving Swampert all the freedom it needs. They have a Regi in the back, and I doubt whatever their third Pokemon is, I doubt it will hard counter Swampert. It's another Swampert. But mine has the energy advantage and a shield advantage as well, so this looks pretty good for me. So My plan has worked. The only thing is theirs is shiny and mine isn't. I wish mine's were shiny. I do have a shiny one, but this Swampert is actually a pretty high ranked Swampert. I think in the top 5 PvP IVs. Back in comes the Regi. I have to block that flash cannon. We both have no more shields left. No more shields left. Unfortunately, they apparently undercharged that flash cannon, and I switch into my Regi to let them use out their energy, and back into the Swampert to take the game with an earthquake. I really don't know why they undercharged that flash cannon, but it worked out for me. This starting match, Articuno has no chance against Regi Steel, so they switch, and I switch into my Swampert to counter this Alolan Muck. As you see in the simulation there, Swampert has a favorable matchup against the Alolan Muck, and it has to be careful. Those Dark Pulses do a lot of damage, but I'm able to spam Hydro Cannon at a faster rate than this Alolan Muck can hit me those Dark Pulses. So let's go. They use a shield. I think we're both on one shield right now. I use my last shield to ensure I win this match and have the switch advantage. They switch into their Poliwrath. So I use mine. And in this situation, Dynamic Punch is the best to use. It does more damage than using Ice Punches, which is resisted actually by the water typing in Poliwrath. Let's go. One more Dynamic Punch. I'm still alive and able to get off a final Dynamic Punch to take down their Poliwrath. And this Articuno has no chance against my Regi Steel. I sack swap my Swampert to take this Dark Pulse back into the Regi Steel, take out the Alolan Muck. And after that, my Regi Steel will have no problem taking out this Articuno. They may as well give up now. Those Icy Wind debuffs do not make a difference against a Regi Steel facing up against an Articuno. If you ever find yourself in this position, don't worry about those Icy Wind debuffs. You'll still take out that Articuno with no problem at all. Steel doing super effective damage against Articuno's Ice typing. And going into this matchup isn't as bad as it seems for my Regi Steel. You may think Superpower threatens Regi Steel a lot, but at this level Melmetal isn't as powerful as it should be, so I ensure I get one shield from them with that Focus Blast, switch into my Poliwrath, and of course they bring in their Cresselia because they know I have a Regi Steel in front. They do not want the Cresselia to match up with my Regi Steel. Plus they know that Cresselia walls Poliwrath, so of course that Cresselia will come out. But that's good because I don't want my Swampert. I want my Swampert to be free to roam and not have to worry about that Cresselia. So, but look at how much damage I'm able to do on this Cresselia with my Poliwrath. It's down to the red. And just bring back in my Regi to finish the job on this Cresselia. Of course, Cresselia's charged moves do little to very little damage, being resisted by the Steel typing of Regi Steel. Down goes, and I know I have to switch immediately to avoid those superpowers. I switch. It's a Rock Slide, and here comes the Dragon Breath Giratina. A horrible thing to go up against, trust me. Those Dragon Breaths do a lot of damage. You can check the simulation there. Alright, Giratina wins this match, but I can still do a lot of damage with Earthquake at least. And I actually managed to take out the Giratina. And look at this. One shield on both sides. Regi Steel versus a Melmetal with energy saved up. You'd think Registeel would be a goner to those superpowers. But like I said, Melmetal at this level is subpar. Look at this ending, was magnificent. It was epic. It takes that superpower. Of course, every time Melmetal uses superpower, it gets debuffed, and on a sliver of life I'm able to reach my last focus blast in the nick of time and take down that Melmetal. Can't get more epic than that. This matchup, Registeel versus the Shadow Claw variant of Giratina Altered, which poses the bigger threat because it's able to charge up those Shadow Snakes at a faster rate. So of course my opponent is staying in. I just want to do some damage before I switch into my Poliwrath. And I should have just gone for just one Flash Cannon instead of two, because now my Registeel is a little low on life. Let's see how that affects the match. I switch into my Poly and they switch into a hard counter. This Armored Mewtwo. Those Confusion fast moves do a lot of damage to Poliwrath, and Poliwrath has no super effective charge moves against this monster. So down it goes. I bring back in my Registeel and I have to look out for Dynamic Punch, and I take one to the face. My Regi takes a Dynamic Punch to the face. I have to block the last one, but they have that Giratina with energy saved up. They bring it back in and take out the Registeel. So now it's up to Super Swampert. Can Swampert do it? They have 2 shields, I have 1. And it's an Obstagoon. Swampert usually wins this match, but I'm not sure how let's see how the shield disadvantage affects it. And look at what my opponent is about to do here. As I go for this Hydro Cannon, they sack swap into their Armored Mewtwo to take that hit to ensure the victory. So thank you for watching this 4-1 set, and I'll see you soon. Like and subscribe for more Go Battle videos.